Hi there, my name is Laura, and welcome to the Equestrian Skill Builders Rider Position Show, where we discuss riding position topics and share ideas and exercises to help you or your riders. If you'd like to improve your riding and training, win more ribbons at your next horse show, or generally like other horsey related stuff, then you're in the right place. And stay tuned because I think the exercises we're shared today might very well change your riding forever in a good way. Guest hosting with me today is Katherine Deichmann. Hi, Katherine. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. And also we have Patricia Jellerson. Hi, Patricia.
Hi.
How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Excellent. So Katherine has been in the equestrian business since birth, dedicating every aspect of her life to broadening horsemanship knowledge and strengthening personal experiences to provide horses and riders with the best care and training. Katherine is all about progressing partnerships and teaching goals for horses and riders as teammates. She's also the owner of Sunny Fox Farm. And where's Sunny Fox Farm, Katherine?
We're just right in between Dripping Springs and Wimberley. It's a new place and just getting started. So, yeah.
Oh, you have a new place. That's great.
Yes.
Where in the
not too far from Austin, right?
South Austin, Texas.
Okay, so you're in Texas. Where are you, Patricia?
I'm in Oklahoma.
Right.
The wilds of Oklahoma. Yesterday I was judging, and Oklahoma is known for its wind, and it was so windy. If you can imagine doing like 3 classes at once, having 10 papers, I even scotch taped my courses to the table, and I had a paperweight, I had my phone, I had the walkie-talkie,
and it was beautiful, right? And you loved every minute of it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
All right, so Katherine is this Texas State Equestrian Team head coach at the Intercollegiate Horse Show Association. She was working at Hunter Chase Farm as the assistant trainer, camp director, instructor rider, and barn manager, and was a member of the Kansas State Equestrian Team. Is that right, Katherine?
Yep, that's right.
Trained under Gardner Powell, and most recently, she was the 2019, that was last year, Retired Racehorse Project, RRP, Thoroughbred Makeover Show Jumping Champion.
Yay!
And second place, America's Most Wanted Thoroughbred Top 5 Show Hunters aboard 10 Pin Sugar.
Yes.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. It must have been very exciting to be a part of that.
Yeah. I saw Gardner. I know Gardner too. She's another our judge.
Yes.
I saw her when she came down to Oklahoma for the Quarter Horse Youth Show. Yeah, we had dinner together.
Wonderful. She's a huge mentor of mine, and I love her to death. I'm proud of her with all of her Arabian stuff that just happened this weekend.
Oh, yeah, she does.
She's awesome.
Oh, I think I saw that, actually. She must be a friend of mine on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. A little pretty little dapple gray thing.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So if it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining us. And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for coming and joining us here today. So remember, if you're on YouTube, to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos that are coming out. And if you're on Facebook, excellent. Thank you so much. And we take questions and comments live. So if you have a comment or question for any one of us here today, we would love to hear what you have to say, or welcome you to take part in the conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Love comments.
Yeah. So I'm going to put that your website address into the comments so people can go to your website. That's Sunny Fox Farm.
It's still in the works. It's getting there.
It's live though, right? I mean you teach at the Texas State, but you also have clients come to your farm.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Yeah.
And boarders and lessons and camps and trail rides and stuff like that. So yes.
Well, congratulations on getting your own place. That's a big step.
It's great. It's bittersweet, but it's been good and it's going well. We're going up.
How much property do you have there?
I lease a place and it's a little over 1,000 acres.
What?
So we have some great trail rides and some really beautiful views and stuff, but beautiful barn, big 14 stall barn. Yeah, I'm loving it. It's great. The horses are loving all the trails that we get to do and good spots to go do some trot steps and oh, that's my husband commenting.
Did he make the website?
He did not make the website.
Thanks, Tyler, for your comment. Appreciate it.
He's a good guy.
Horse husbands are best, huh?
Yeah.
And of course, me. I am Laura. Laura Kelland-May. I'm an Equestrian Canada senior judge, hunter, jumper, equitation, and hack, a senior steward, and a competition coach specialist, high performance trained. So if you have any questions or comments, please send them in here. You can comment as we're going live, or if you're watching the replay or recording, you can comment and we will get back to you as well. So we are going to be doing a position review, and then we're going to talk about Katherine about her RRP experience and go over some other exercises. You ready to get started?
Yeah,
you're ready.
Okay, so we have something from Kathleen. Kathleen, let me just, how do I share this? Here we go. Kathleen sent in a photo. Oh, where are you, Kathleen? Kathleen's not there anymore. Okay. I had some information there. So Kathleen sent this image in. I'm just going to get some information that she sent. And so while I'm finding this, Katherine or Patricia, you'd like to start on a review?
Well, I did some zooming after we kind of chatted the other day and tried to figure out what that bit was. So hopefully,
yeah,
I know
I think it's a boucher bit, like a hanging snaffle. They use them a lot in eventing. It's a simple snaffle. I think I could be totally wrong, and it could still be a pelham with just the bottom rein or something. But I'm thinking that's what it is. We'll see. But I like this little horse, and he looks super cute. I'm going to assume that she is sitting the trot and not trotting on the wrong diagonal.
Well, that was one of my comments too. I was thinking, well, she's doing a rising trot. She's on the wrong diagonal.
Right.
So.
But she's cute. The only thing I really had to nitpick her on a little bit is I just want to see her elongate herself. So step into her heel just a little bit more and pull her shoulders and her rib cage up a bit, which will then just kind of lift her hand. And with a little more bend in her elbow. So I'm sure if she is sitting trot, she's probably trying her best not to bounce. So she really looks great. But yeah, your red line's perfect. Just that little raise in her hand, little more bend in the elbow, lift her chest and her back up. And I think she'd look perfect. It looks like a super cute little horse. I just love his way of going and his little sweet demeanor. He's going, okay, I'm doing my job. I look pretty.
Yeah, exactly. I think too. Well, one thing I thought was, like you say, she looked like she needs to sit up more through her rib cage. So it almost looks like she's kind of rounding through her back.
Right.
So that's what you mean is to raise up through her, like stick your chest out.
Just the feeling of taking a big deep breath, sitting up and opening up your lungs and stuff, and it'll just kind of raise those shoulders and
I know. I think that's exactly what I did when you said that. I kind of took a deep breath.
Right.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's like I think I had a friend that once described it as if you had a string that attached to your spine. You just lift the string a little bit and kind of raise your body up.
Yes. Well, and that's one of the most common things I see with a lot of my, really not even just adults and some kids, is we're always at our desks at school slouching, and you have to make it a habit every day to fix that body position, and then it'll be a little easier when you're on your horse too.
Right. And you're right about elongating her leg, because you can see where the saddle flap is bunched up a little bit because
right.
her leg is up and she's squeezing a little with her knee instead of
right here.
Yeah.
That's because what she's gripping up like this with her leg, right? Maybe she's trying to get the sucker to move forward.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
But she should be wrapping her leg around and using the inside of her leg, inside of her boot, to make the horse go forward rather than bringing her heel up that way.
Right. Yeah, she's a great rider, though. She looks nice otherwise. Just those.
Yeah, the horse looks very happy. It looks very happy with his job. So
yes,
she must be doing a good job up there riding him.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, generally speaking, she looks in great balance with the horse. She's looking up, looking forward. She looks relaxed with her body as well. You know, she's got a great demeanor on herself, on her face. So as a judge,
smile. I like seeing riders smile. I'm a big goofy grin kind of girl around course, so I like seeing people out there having fun. That's a big thing for me.
So as a judge, if you were watching this person go around, I know one thing that I look for as a judge is the peak of the helmet, and if it's going straight ahead, that's great. So if you see the peak of the helmet aiming down, it's kind of like you go on to the next rider to see if the peak of their helmet. So that's their peak of the helmet is up. That's great. What about this? Looks like to me
her fingers could be closed. Catherine's right. You know, her hand's a little low because her body's collapsed, but she's also kind of got those open fingers. I really like to see the finger closed and the thumb pressed down on the rein.
Right. Well, you know, the little ice cream cone trick, I think of it now. I want to tell my students, think you're holding your phone in your hand like this.
Oh, it used to be an ice cream. It used to be an ice cream cone, but now it's an iPhone.
They worry way more about their phone than the ice cream. So, but if you keep those thumbs texting your phone, then your hands will be all right when you're riding out there.
That's a good one.
Keeping up with the modern times, huh?
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Hey, Catherine.
Catherine Keller-Bradfield. Thank you, Catherine, for your comments. Great. So what else we have here? The TK, this is weird. One. It's a mullen mouth with a narrow port with independent sliding cheek pieces.
Okay.
We're in an egg butt most days now. Okay, so this must be Kathleen that's putting that. It's a weird one. It's a mullen mouth. So Kathleen, if you could send a picture of us and put it on somewhere either, or send it to thistleridge@hotmail.com. So I've never heard of that. Have you heard of that?
I'm interested to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
For sure.
So it's a mullen mouth with a narrow port. Okay. Independent sliding cheek pieces. Okay, so it's got the sliding pieces. We're in an egg butt most days now. Okay, so
cool.
Excellent. Okay, so getting back to this person now. Clear, close. Do you think this horse could be going a bit more forward? Pardon me, a bit more forward.
I do. I think he's engaged. He's got his hind end underneath him nicely, and he's got a nice little, you know, he's soft on the bit, but he's got that nice little head carriage there. But I think he might be a little bit of a lazy guy, at least on the flat, is what I'm thinking. So I think that elongating her leg like that too will help really her be able to use her calf more to get him to go, not having to jab that heel up. And, you know, lazy ones are tough because sometimes you're like, I just like to give them a good old kick.
Yeah. But do you think it's just her calf, or do you think her whole leg needs to come down a little bit more?
I think the whole leg. I think if she gets down into that heel a little bit better, then that knee will just lower a slight bit. You know, she's kind of creeping up.
I mean, I think for flat work, her stirrup could almost be a hole longer.
I was thinking
a lot of times I have my riders ride a hole longer if they're doing flat work, and then take them up a hole for jumping. It looks like it could be a hole longer, the stirrup, I think.
Now, how do you determine if your stirrup is the correct length?
Well, of course, when I put the stirrup on, the rider on, I want the stirrup to hit the ankle bone. But, you know, a lot of times it depends on how long their thigh is, or, if they're longer through the calf, and you have to just kind of look and adjust. But I think if you look at the height of her knee, it's a little high in the saddle. It's awfully close to the horse's wither. I think that if you dropped her stirrup, it'd drop her knee down a
you
little.
want her knee to be like here or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like an inch or two, right? That's all you're saying. Yeah.
What about you, Katherine? How do you determine the correct stirrup length?
Well, especially with IHSA, you know, we have so many, with the team and stuff, we have so many different horses and sizes of horses, ways of going, different size kids, you know, so I base it a lot off of, one, you know, if I've got a taller rider on a shorter horse, I say, we're going to make your legs a little bit shorter up there, so you have a little more something to work with. And then we've got some of the big, you know, big giant bellied horse that I'll say, you've got a lot more to wrap your leg around. We can go down a hole. So I like the angles. I like having, you know, my biggest thing is your heels have to be down, or you can't really accomplish anything else with your body. So if you're reaching for your stirrups, we're going to go up. If you're bunched up, then you're going to learn to stretch that heel down. I actually like to do every semester. I torture my kids with what I call jockey day. So I shorten their stirrups.
You know what? I got a picture of that. That's one of my favorite exercises, you know.
I mean, I make them go short, so they can stand in that heel and really feel what it feels like to work their calf muscles front and back. And it's fun. We laugh, we goof around. People can't hardly walk afterwards, but it does them good. It does them good. And
do you think that jockey stirrup length is just as valuable as no stirrups?
I do, actually, in a different way, for sure. It uses, you know, even I do it to myself. I don't just torture my own kids. I make me do the same thing. But you get off and you go, well, I thought I knew all the different kind of muscles that I had from riding horses, and now I just found way more. Jockeys are pretty strong. It's pretty crazy. They can balance up there like that and still look perfectly in control. So I think it's a fun exercise to do, and it makes everybody lighten up a little bit too. It's not.
That's a good idea. And I think when the stirrups are longer like that, you have to have a really good upper body control too.
Right. Yes, definitely. So yeah, it's fun. It's silly, but it's fun.
Excellent. Okay, so Kathleen did send a picture of that bit, and we're going to continue on. And if I can go in behind the scenes here and figure out how to get it into my album, I'll show it to you guys. Actually, it looks like a curb with a short arm on it. Shank.
Okay.
So
short shank. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
totally
what's that?
So we weren't totally wrong then, right?
Right. Pretty close.
Oh, that's exactly what you said, right?
Yeah.
But I'm kind of curious how we go from that bit to an egg butt, because that's a pretty wide,
a little different
range there.
This is the picture. I love her smile. She's so cute up there. Now the horse is smiling just the same too, over a good, you know, good size airy oxer, and they are obviously having quite fun. And that's my favorite thing to see, is when you can noticeably tell somebody is totally enjoying themselves, and their horses too.
Cute horse, very cute.
Yeah. So about her position now, Katherine, what do you think of her position? I mean, she's got an egg butt in this one, actually.
Yes, I see that.
Or maybe
for her position, it's kind of the same with her leg. You know, I don't like to be too picky about the leg over fences, as long as it's not crazy, you know, back on the butt kind of thing. But this horse is jumping nice and round and pretty big over this oxer, that her leg is really pretty secure. She could use, you know, like I said, if we're going to get real nitpicky, she could use a little more heel and get that leg just a little more underneath her, and then she can pull her body up off the neck a bit. I think she's a great rider. She's probably, you know, if I'm going to get as picky as George Morris or something, she could use a little automatic release and let those hands slide down beside the crest instead of up on top of the neck. And she's probably perfectly capable and strong enough to be able to do that. But I think that
so you're saying, so with respect To the automatic release, you're saying that, okay, you can see that the reins are looped, so she's certainly not interfering with the horse,
not
right?
interfering at all. No, definitely.
But you say, okay, it's time to graduate. It's time to graduate and go to the next level, right? Is that what you're saying? So that maybe put your hands here.
Perfect. Then you have that straight line from the elbow through the hand to the bit as well. But of course, that's just me being super, super picky. I think she looks great up there.
I'm curious. I have a question for Katherine. Your IHSA riders,
yes.
The upper level riders, do you teach them the automatic release as far as showing in IHSA?
Obviously, with the equitation world, it's not as big. I've noticed a lot of judges aren't the biggest fan of it. I think because it's not necessarily perfected in every rider, it's not used as much. So I with having different horses and being on a horse you don't know, I totally encourage the crest release. I'm a big grab that mane. I'd much rather you have a little mane in your hand and not interfere with that horse at all. But obviously this rider definitely, is a team with this horse and works with him often or owns him. And so I think once you have that relationship with your horse and you know how they jump, you're comfortable with the way they jump, then it's just that little extra push to yourself to go, okay, I can jump with my hands on the neck all day long, but let's test my strength, my core strength, my leg strength, and just 2 inches down the neck a little bit. You got a fat horse, then you still got a little place to rest your fat neck. But no, I'm a big mane grabber for sure, especially for the team kids and the little kids.
Yeah. This horse, as we saw from the flat class, from the flat picture, to me is got a great confirmation for the sport. He's built to kind of carry himself up a little and not be heavy on the front end, and it shows in the jumping as well.
Yes, I agree. Little compact, short back, cute, thick.
Okay, so I'm thinking I may have gotten the bit here.
Okay.
So what did she call it?
Port, mullen mouth port, right?
Yeah, so it has a port. I've seen the sliding cheek pieces like that, but really, honestly, not
to
very
me that
often.
looks,
In a long time. It's almost
to me that seems to be a curb. It's weird when mullen mouth, narrow port with independent sliding cheek pieces. Okay,
I'm sure it's very good for a little reminder for horses to not get heavy on you, pulling on you. He looks like a bit of a drafty type of build, so he probably gets a little lazy and heavy on the hand. And I bet this is a good little reminder for him.
Yeah, so I think that's a little curb bit. Wouldn't you call that a little curb bit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Kathleen says, we've just started jumping this high. The other day he came up so much under me that his withers hit my chest. That's awesome.
That's so cute. He's so cute, Kathleen.
I know. I always used to say, when you see riders walking around a show and they all have dirty dirt mark in their chest, that they were riding a good jumping horse.
Yeah. That's too funny. Anytime.
Okay, so if Kathleen came to you as a student, Katherine, what would you get her to work on?
Just strengthening that leg, getting that leg down a little bit. Like I said, I love the way she rides. I think she's a great little rider and obviously loves her horse. And congratulations on starting to jump bigger jumps. That's always a fun little achievement. But yeah, do some without stirrups work, get those hands and that body a little taller, just trot around the ring thinking big deep breaths, and that helps a ton. But yeah, I think she's a great rider.
Do you
love her little horse?
Yeah, he's cute, isn't he? Look at those feet, man. So would you recommend that she work without stirrups without jumping over fences, or stick on the flat, or what?
Yeah, it kind of goes back. I'm not a huge fan of jumping without stirrups. I think it's great to be able to do. I think everybody should be able to do it. With my way of teaching and stuff, like I said, we're on so many different horses that I don't want to cause the horse any issues.
Right.
And kiddos not being strong enough or whatnot. But I think she is plenty strong enough to do some little grids without stirrups, even just cavalettis, ground pulls. And as lenient as I can be on my students. I'm sure some of my students are like, we haven't dropped our stirrups all year. I think adding in, just a few laps at the beginning, even at the end of posting trot without stirrups is a huge plus and will only help everybody. It's a gradual change. Everything we do is strengthening and getting better as a rider is always gradual. But I think just a little bit each ride, it helps a ton. It goes a really long way. And you look back in a couple months and go, holy cow, my leg is so much tighter. My body is so much stronger. So I support the no stirrups for sure.
Yeah. So excellent. Yeah. That's really good. So I do have what Kathleen sent in. She goes, hi, my name's Kathleen. I live in Saskatchewan. I found your videos this week, but really enjoyed your positive feedback and constructive comments. Thank you very much, Kathleen. A bit about me. I've been riding for 20 years, mainly hunters and dressage, although occasionally dabble in jumpers. I'm including 2 photos over fence flat. Feel free to use them on Sunday.
Well, I thought she was only about 20 or 25, so that's saying something. She looks great.
That's great. And I'd like to remind everybody, if you're watching live, please, if you have comments or questions, we'd love to hear from you. Just put them in the comments here and we'll get to them. If you have a question, we'd love to answer your question live right now if you have any questions. So there. Okay, perfecto. Kathleen, do you have any questions while we're here live? Thank you so much for sending that picture of the bit. I really appreciate it. And if you have any comments or questions, or if anybody else, Tyler, do you have any more comments or questions? We'd love to hear from you as well.
How old is your horse, Kathleen? So I'm curious to know how old that horse is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you would like to have your picture position reviewed, please send me an email, thistleridge@hotmail.com. We'd love to do a review of it for you, and try to take pictures from the side so we can get a good profile view of you, but send them in to me, and love to hear from you. Right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm looking at the cute horse. He's so cute. Just kidding.
I know. This horse is really trying. And he looks so happy.
Perfect, aren't they? Just perfectly square.
He's just too precious. He really likes his job. I love those ears for it. And she's obviously having a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. That's something we've talked about a lot in the past, Catherine. A happy horse, reflects how well the rider is riding. If you see a horse with its ears pinned in an unhappy expression, there's something going on top of them that they don't like.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so you mentioned some grids and poles that you can work on, and we've got a couple of videos. Do you want to? I'm just going to share this here. This has happened yesterday with you, right?
Yes.
So this is
no, it's Friday. Sorry.
Okay, Friday. So recently, this isn't something that you dredged up from a long time ago. These are your students.
Yeah. This grid is just 4 poles. They're set little 9.5 feet. So these horses going through it. I got a good variety of them, but main goal we were doing is staying slow while we're, no rushing, but opening the stride up. So these let the horses just kind of reach a little more than they need to cantering in, and let the rider just sit there. So none of these horses get quick to any, these guys, especially this little mare. She, I've had her in my program for quite a while, but she's got a massive stride, but sometimes just gets a little too hot and up. So I just like to let her open her stride up a little bit. While staying straight. I'm a big stickler for being straight. My new arena, I love how long it is. We can jump a couple jumps, 5 stride line, and then canter another 20 strides, just focusing on their shoulders and their hind end being straight.
How nice that you get to ride in a field like that. I mean, that's so good, not to be stuck in a ring all the time. It's
right.
Horses.
So that's quite a long canter to that cross rail at the end there. So what
I
are
love
some
that.
things? What are some things that your riders have to deal with between the last pole and the cross rail?
Everybody, and I say everybody because I mean myself too. You always want to land after that grid and sit up and whoa and pull, and so it's I like the long approach. It lets us just be able to canter down there and leave them alone. And the hardest thing to do is to do nothing up there on the horse's back. But if we're going through those grids to get a nice big open stride, then let's keep that big open stride down to that far away cross rail. I like the jump the single fence to be a little more exciting. You see my caution boards over there. Just so that the horses are peeking a little bit, looking at it, paying attention to it, and getting their minds focused while the rider can still be there and say, hey, I'm going to close my leg, even though we're forward. And it's all about
we want to do something.
We
right?
have to do something. We always convince ourselves.
Or pick at
Right.
their mouth and try to do something.
Micromanage. We're very good. People are very good at micromanaging. And horses have little brains. They don't need to be micromanaged.
So Bree Carola, thank you very much, Bree.
Hi, Bree.
Bree. Oh, do you know this person?
I do know Bree. It's been a long time since I've seen her, but she's a good friend of ours.
Hey, Katherine, I've got a question. What do you recommend for bringing a horse back into work after a long period of time off? Okay, this is only an hour program.
Well, so I mean, bringing a horse back, I'm kind of thinking of Bree personally right now, and knowing her situation and everything. Gradual change. Just everybody has to remember, whether you're working with a baby, a horse that's had time off, horse that was injured, just let it be gradual. There's no rush. Enjoy go out there and flat a little bit. Even 10 minutes a day is only going to help the next day be better. But I do like lots of, especially the place that I'm at now, I have lots of room to go just trot and trot and trot and trot. I think trotting is a great way just to build muscle. I'm not the biggest fan of lunging, but I do think that lunging with side reins is always helpful as well to build that top line up. But my main suggestion is go at your horse's pace. They'll tell you when they're ready to do more. Don't baby them, don't coddle them. We don't want them to get hurt again or anything, but they're strong animals. And when they're ready to come back into work, I think that they show us how much they can handle. And
I like where you say do gradual change, like so the first week walk something,
right,
walk like 20 minutes or half an hour, and then not the next week. Don't start cantering courses. The next week maybe you do your 20-minute walk plus 10 minutes of trotting, or the intervals, or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very important. So that they do develop the muscle, and that's not just the muscle, but it's also their wind that you have to make sure that.
I think of myself, I'm like, I'm out of shape. No way I could go run laps around the ring. Maybe walk a few, but.
And I think too, it's important, especially if you have a horse that's injured, that you have a period before you start riding them where they're able to be turned out again.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes to go from stall rest right to riding is kind of difficult. I mean, the horses are usually pretty energetic, and having that turnout time is kind of a bridge for that gap, rather than having them sit in the stall for a month and then just get right on.
Keep keep them safe too.
Yeah, exactly.
Off your first ride right away with. We don't need any of
that. Catherine Keller Bradfield asks, how many students are on the Texas Intercollegiate team, and what's their level of experience coming in?
So this year, I think we have about 20. I need to go back through and count exactly, but I think about 20. And they come in at all levels. I have some girls and guys, and we are co-ed. So I have lots of people that have never ridden a horse that have just decided, this looks like fun. And then I've had some girls from all over the country come in that have been showing their whole lives. one of my favorites to work with are girls that have done like the Western Pleasure and stuff, because they really have that showmanship and they've been out there in the show ring as kids and stuff. And so getting them to turn to the dark side, to the jumping world a little bit is always really fun. It's a good accomplishment.
Yeah.
Okay. I love having
so it sounds like it's all levels.
All levels, for sure.
All levels, and a lot of different disciplines too.
Well, they offer classes in the shows all the way from walk trot to the open riders, which is equivalent to like jumping. What would you say, like 3 foot?
So the open riders, our region, we jump about 2.9, 2.9, 3 foot for the open classes, but those riders have to have shown. I think shown 3.6 over fences, and been to some rated shows, that kind of thing, to help them qualify. They get basically appointed to their team, to their level, to their division, the open, the intermediate, stuff like that. So yeah, it's fun.
So Bree says, thank you so much. Presley wants to know, hi Catherine, what do you look for when buying a horse? We're going to I hope to cover that off a little bit in our next topic. I want to go through another video. Presley also says hi. So do you know Presley?
I do know Presley. She's a former student of mine. She's a great little kid.
So we have another video. It's the same grid, the canter grid with the crossroad, but a different horse.
Yes, this little horse is one of the ones mainly I was talking about, how she's a quarter horse. She's actually one that my grandfather bred, my grandparents bred. Her name is Jules, and she's a quarter horse, so she's got a little bit of a smaller step, a little more of a choppy step. So I like doing the pulls with her, just to open that step up. You can kind of see her. She gets a little too quick at the end, but it was a good accomplishment for us, because she took charge and went, okay, I'm going to reach a little bit over these, and this horse.
Yeah, you can see her reaching actually. And like the way this rider's sitting up there too, really kind of being soft,
yes, very soft. She's supportive. So yeah, this was one of my favorite videos through this, because horse is happy. She's going, okay, I get the exercise, and kiddo is like supporting and guiding her, but not interfering in any way. She's doing a good job of doing nothing. I like it to look like we're doing nothing, with a million things underneath you that you really are doing.
And it almost looks like the mare wants to, is it a mare that
yes.
Horse? Okay, so that she wants to make a bid to the jump and starts to get a little tense at the end there. She goes from looking looking really happy to go, okay, I see the jump, I want to go to it.
Right. Yeah, she was fun. She got a little wild at the end, so I told her, let's just halt. And that's why I like that jump being so far away, is you can use it to its full potential and have them canter all the way down to it. Or you can say, nope, we're going to stop here. We're going to take our mind off of that jump. We're going to focus on our hind end. And so that's what we did here with that little horse. I cut the video short on accident.
So Madison says, my trainer's famous. Hey, Catherine.
Silly kids.
We can give you her autograph.
Yeah, she's got a few of those. Madison's a good girl too. She's great.
Hey, Catherine. Yeah, awesome. That's I really like that video, actually, the one that this one here with that horse. I think it shows a lot. Like you could see the horse reaching, like the other one was kind of loping through, but this one really had to do a little bit of an effort. And the rider too was kind of riding her, but not abandoning her in the front. Keeping the balance.
My biggest thing on grids too is, the grid is a full line. It can be a little intimidating for some people, whether it's just a simple bounce or it's 5, 6, 7, 10 jumps, but you have to ride to that first jump. And don't focus on everything after it. Don't look at that big old oxer at the end or the two stride coming up or something. You got to get to that first pole and then let the horse figure it out. When you ride that first rail, whether it's just a ground line, a canter pole in front, or that first jump, the first bounce, is get your focus on the first jump, get to the first jump, and then you can let your horse do their job. And the striding just makes your job easier.
Excellent. Okay, so we got a couple more videos here. Let's go to the next one. It is a dark bay or black horse. It's just loading. Dark bay or black horse.
Yeah, this is another student of mine. And
what's the exercise?
So this is just a little course that I like to do. So this horse is big, gangly. He's my personal horse. So as trainers, you know that your personal horses get put on the back burner a little bit. So he's a little bit out of shape, but he just gets really long in his step. He's got a long neck, long body. So he gets a little too, I call it strung out. Just a little, his timed in trails behind him. So these girls are my little jumper riders. They like a little, the turns and stuff. So I compromise. I give them their little jumper course with the turns, and I say, okay, now pull back and slow down. So like there, she pushes to a little bit of nothing. She goes, oh, I'm not fast enough. I need to go. And I say, no, just wait for your fence. Wait. So I like this exercise in two different ways for the horse and the rider. This horse, it really helps him. She has to put him together a little bit more, bring him from leg to hand, is get his butt up underneath him, but they still get the little bit of a thrill of having to focus on where they're going and what turns they're making and stuff like that. I like the way that she rode these first three jumps. This jump, she comes out of the corner, cuts it a little bit, but it gives her a nice ride to this jump here. But she lands and really falls into the left. And so then in turn loses that shoulder, moving over in the corner, gets here, and then in turn just kind of loses her eye a little bit. And you can see her go, oh, we're going to get the long spot, and just throw everything away that she created at the beginning of the course.
And got too close.
Yeah, and just got a little too deep.
Okay, so let's just see if I can go back to that. Nope.
But I like to say that,
okay, so how could she have saved this?
Well, so everybody always tells me I could have made that jump better. I'm like, yeah, well, the jump would have been better if your corner, your approach, everything long time before that jump was better. So really, I stem this problem that she has at that single vertical with the two rails kind of comes back to the way she landed off the little butterfly oxer. And if she would have landed
this one here,
straighter, the next one over, yes, there, right there. So she lands, she's straight here. She's straight in the picture frame here. But she lands and immediately lets him fall in right here to the left. And she's going to turn around that jump. And I'm going, well, you have to jump that jump. So especially in this arena that I have, there's plenty of room to go straight for a long amount of time. So even she could have made the turn pretty tight to this next center line fence there, but because she let her horse fall in, you can see her there pulling that outside rein, trying to pull his head out instead of pushing him over and getting him up off that inside shoulder to have a little bit of a smoother turn.
So she should have put that left leg on and pushed him into the outside. Yeah, you can really see him right there leaning on that inside. Yeah,
motorcycling. We call it motorcycling.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think the distance she got to this jump could have been prevented, and I mean I say could have, by just riding that corner, that approach. Even though you're not facing the jump yet, that your jump is only a small portion of your courses. You've got to ride the path. You've got to ride the canter. Your jump is your horse's job. I like to say, about a stride on each side of it. Once you get to that stride away from your jump, you should be set. You should have your horse prepared. You should be ready, where then you can say, okay, I've done my job. Now you can jump and do your job correctly. So the jump is not our job. The jump is the horse's job. Our job is the approach and the ride and everything like that, the setup.
That's a really good
replaying that so often. But the rest of her course was lovely.
Yeah, it was really good. But I mean, people need to know that it's not like you say, it's not the 2 strides before that jump that's the problem. It's the previous jump and the 15, 20 strides coming into that jump. If she would have been able to recover, she never really recovered off of that fence when he popped that shoulder in.
Right.
So if she would have been able to get the left leg on and jam him out into his outside rein and then do a balanced turn, then she would have been able to adjust something. Or he would have been able to adjust himself to get to the jump.
It was a great breakthrough for this kid because she loves riding this horse and she normally rides a little jumper pony. So it's a huge change for her. And she made a big breakthrough with understanding the whole, put their butts together, put them together, and then just wait for them. So I was super happy with her that day and the way she figured things out and took my coaching to good benefits.
So, Patricia, if that would happen in the ring, what kind of score, like if she would have gotten all of those jumps correctly, what kind of score would she get? And if they mess up one of those scores, what kind of score would they get? So let's bring in the judging part of it in. She rode really nicely, but just because that happened, what does that do to a score? And if you're doing the hunters
score, that's a pretty bad chip. I think that's got to be below 70 with that.
Yeah.
That center line jump like that when I showed at Kansas State, it haunts me still to this day, 10 years later. But I remember being on course and on a horse I hadn't ridden yet and came around the corner to that and it just didn't have him straight and off the outside leg. And we chipped it terribly. My leg went up over the stand. It was so embarrassing. And so now I'm like, all right, all of my students are going to learn how to ride a jump off the rail like that.
Right. Well, it's like I tell mine. I mean, you've got to avoid those major mistakes. You can have a fence that's a little tight or a little long. You can have a lot of minor errors and still get a good score, but you've got to try to avoid those big bloopers,
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Okay, so we got another video here, and I do want to get to the, let's see, Catherine does have another question. When you accept horses off the track, what do you start with to prepare for a switch hunter jumper career? And I did want to get to that because I wanted to ask Catherine about the RRP. So we're just going to quickly go through the next video, which shows the next horse, and then we're going to answer your question, Catherine Keller. How's that? Good?
Works for me.
Yeah. All right. So here's is this the same little
So this is the same course. No, this is a different chestnut. This is not the one that we saw go through the grid. This little mare. So this is actually my working student. She's a great kid. And this is her personal pony that she did most of her training and stuff at home with her. So it's a little bit of a hot quarter horse, appendix quarter horse mare. This is the first day that we're trying a new bit. So I like the way she rode that corner so much better, but still not pushing that shoulder out enough. And you'll see here as she comes to this jump, that's when she starts tossing her head, getting a little silly and in front of herself. And like I said, she's a little hot. She likes to do the jumper stuff, but that's part of why I like this course is it's taking that jumper mindset and saying we still have the turns, but doesn't mean we're not in the jump off. We're not speeding through it. Let's just work on the efficiency of our turns, riding those turns correctly. You can only turn so tight and do it certain ways before you're either wrong or right. And so I like little details like that. And the girls get annoyed with me sometimes by me saying, nope, dude, we're going to do that corner again. And they like to hear me say, let's do that jump again. I'm like, well, let's fix the corner before we jump the jump.
Right. Because the jump is going to be fixed if you ride the corner properly.
Right, exactly. So this kid does a great job. Like I said, she's a strong, good rider, and knows these horses. This horse's habits. She, unlike the other one on the big black horse, she's only been riding him for a couple months now. You know, hasn't really been working with him. This horse and rider combination, I think, have been together for about 2, maybe even longer than that, 2 years, I think. And she's been a hot horse, a little harder horse to you know, teach the simple things, because she does get a little too excited, but it's been fun for this kid.
That's a nice jumper too.
Yeah, she's talented.
Keen.
She's allergic to wood.
Yeah.
But even with all the fighting, even I hate the fighting, but all the little tug of war with her hands, I think the kid does a really great job of holding her together, especially knowing
holds her together, but she doesn't really, like, she's not tense or pulling. She's just saying, you know, we're just going to go slower. And if you want to pull against me, that's okay, but I'm not going to fight with you about it.
Yeah. And she's a soft rider, and
soft.
Definitely loves this pony. And here you can see that horse want to make that bid going up to that longer distance. And she said, no, we're going to wait for that one.
Yeah.
I judged yesterday, and in the jumpers that I judged, there were one of the courses was a power and speed. And the first half, of course, is power, where you have to jump clean. And the second half is where you're timed for speed. And I was amazed how many horses blazed through the powers.
Right.
Power, and, you know, super tight turns, and I'm like, you know, it's not the speed phase yet. You want to be careful and not just go. You know,
all my girls that love the jumpers, I said, until you get out of your head that we just need to go fast, you're not allowed to do the jumpers. Jumpers are about efficiency and detail, not just running around like a hell demon.
Okay, so now those are great videos. And if anybody has questions or comments on the videos we just saw, it really, to me, shows that it's not always perfect. And it's great that you shared too that you yourself are not always perfect.
Oh no.
And that's why we have trainers to help us get there and to help us point us in the right direction and get us more efficient.
Yes, absolutely.
Really. So thanks for that. Those are great and totally different types of horses. You had the big kind of lazy horse, and then you got the nice quick little appendix in there, and same exercise. You're just kind of looking for the same things, but a little different ride from each of the riders.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now I really this is one of the reasons I'm going to have you back again, because this is what I wanted to talk to you about. Pardon me?
I said, I'll happily come back anytime.
Yeah. Retired Racehorse Project. So tell us a little bit about the Retired Racehorse Project and what it means to you and in
everything
in how you did. Yeah.
Well, so last year was my first year competing, and I mean, I've over the past several years have looked into it and watched some friends take their horses, and thoroughbreds have been a part of my life since I was very young. My grandparents breed and raise thoroughbreds, quarter horses, and they're retired now. So thankfully, to my grandmother's sake, we don't have as many brood mares out there. But the thoroughbred's been a part of my life forever, and that's what I grew up. My mom teaching me on. So being able to be a part of RRP was really neat. We just kind of stumbled upon these horses that. Maple, 10-pin Sugar, who came in just a scrawny little thing off the track, nothing exciting, and kicked at us as we're trying to put her blanket on and all this, and just a sassy little mare. And then Mac, the other horse that I ended up taking, was a war horse, raced till he was nearly 8. And so yeah, being able to just have these horses fall in our hands. I had some incredible people that helped us along the way with money, funds, getting there is a lot. So going through the show though, and seeing all the different people, the different disciplines, it was crazy. It was just so cool. I mean, hundreds of thoroughbreds, and some that are barrel racing and some that are working cows. And then the others are fox hunting and trail work and the show jumping and dressage. And it was really cool. It was, it wasn't a normal show of a little bit of attitudes around and I'm better than you. It was, everybody was there to advocate the thoroughbreds and support their careers off the track. So it was a just totally incredible experience.
How many days was it? It's quite a long show. Like, it's not a single day. It's like a whole.
No, it's the whole week. They have 10 different disciplines. So they have to, and then hundreds of horses in each discipline as well. So at the Kentucky Horse Park, it works out great with the amount of arenas and stuff, but it does go over several days. So it was nice. I mean, it was a vacation. My husband and my youngest son came with me, and then 10 Pin Sugars owner Sarah and her mom, Kimberly, they came as well. They got an awesome sponsor that made it capable for us to even go there. So it's basically just like a week-long party for us with the horse show thrown in the middle. It was really fun. We had a couple classes each day for each horse, so they weren't overworked at all. They got some time to just relax, chill out. We got to go just kind of hack out on the cross-country course a little bit, which was super fun. So yeah.
So how far is it from where you are? You're in Texas to Kentucky.
Texas to Kentucky. Oh, don't quote me on the miles, but a long way, 800 or something, I think.
So like a day's drive.
It was a good drive. So the horses, we got to haul a shipper, and Kaiser Equine took us up there and took us back. They were fabulous. And we just made a road trip out of it. Tyler, like I said, my youngest son, and Sarah, Maple's owner, we rented a car and drove on through. And so, like I said, it was a big old party. It was just a lot of fun.
Okay. So so let's get back here to Katherine. Katherine, thank you so much for this. It's a great question. So when you accept a horse off the track, what do you start with to prepare for the switch to hunter jumper career? So that's kind of in line with what you're doing. And I'd like to add, how long does it take to, I mean, I guess for the RRP, the Retired Racehorse Project, you have a year.
Yes. So I love that question, because
Tyler says 18 hours, by the way.
Okay, so there you go. Thanks, Tyler. So anyways, with the horses coming off the track, I am, like I said, I've dealt with a lot of them, but I think it's very, very important to go back to that gradual change situation. Every horse is different. I still have some horses that came off the track a year ago that are still, still have PTSD from certain things, whether it's good or bad. So the first thing I like to do is just groundwork. I'm big on having a good brain. You can create a good brain, or you can get lucky and have a good brain to start with. But I think groundwork's important. Teaching them to just tie and stand and be patient, be groomed. I have a lot of, the Texas State kids and kiddos themselves. So safety is a big thing to me. I don't like any horses being goofy and wild. And so I go with groundwork. I also like to take horses off the track and pony them, where I'm on another horse and leading them along. I think it's a good way to kind of see how they're going to react.
And they're used to that too, right? That's part of the everyday for them
kind of thing. Yeah. It kind of gets them accustomed to their new place, while still doing something that they're used to, and that does calm them down. I find that helps a lot. But other than that, every horse is different. Lots of flat work, as much as the hunter jumper career is the goal at the end. You've got to build that support for their bodies, their brains. We got to be able to trot around the ring calmly and collectively before we ever throw a jump in there. But I do like doing lots of trail rides. Getting out of the arena, I think, is really important for them as well. Thoroughbreds especially kind of come into the ring and go back into track mode and say, oh, something's about to happen. And I like for nothing to happen sometimes, and then to go
when
back
they
to
hear the announcer come on, or they can hear that. Or I know a friend of mine, she was riding out and happened to be riding her property was next to a prison, and they ring the bell when they allow the inmates to come back in, go out or whatever. And she said it was just back on the track.
Right.
I guess
the commotion of being around other horses and stuff. So I'll have some of my kids, some of my older students, more advanced students, just get on the babies off the track and just sit in a lesson, let them stand with the rider on and just sit and watch the kids ride around and never be expected anything. Their job is just to stand there and watch and relax and take in all the new stuff. And then their reward is to be done for the day. So of course my kids are like, can we do something? Can we trot around? I'm like, nope, not today. This one's just going to stand and hang out. So I think building the brain, the mentality, the safe, calm, relaxed mentality is a big thing to start with for sure. Yeah. So good question, grandmother.
Yeah, it's great. And then you proceed kind of like, I guess, the question that we had, how to bring a horse back if it's been off for a while.
Yeah,
because these horses, they have to have been in the racing program. There's a certain time where they have to have been in the program.
Have to have raced by a certain before a certain date to be eligible, and then after that, once you have them, you can acquire them a year before RRP, but they cannot have more than 15 rides off the track before December 1st. So I like that a lot. It makes us be patient, but it also gives those horses a good fair letdown. I think it is important for horses off the track, even if it's 2 weeks, a month of just hanging out, being a horse, getting some pasture time and stuff like that, I think is really important for them to make that transition. So I like the 15 ride kind of minimum. It doesn't let people start rushing into things with just throwing their horses over fences and stuff like that. And then you kind of have a little bit of a deadline to get ready from December to October. But one of the biggest things that RRP did, and all their volunteers and the people that work the shows and stuff really made an impression on me, is that it is so much about the journey, not about just RRP and the show that day. You can win, you can lose, you can have an absolutely, I'll say my dressage test on my second horse that I took, Mac, I just about cried the whole time. It was terrible. And then ended up winning the show jumping. So looking back on it, it's so much about just being able to give these horses a good new career. It's not about that one show and going out there. So I like to kind of carry that over to everything else. Everything's a gradual change, whether we go to a show to work on what we've been working on, our goals and stuff like that. It's still a year after that, you're going to look back and go, holy cow, look at the progress. So it's very important to just enjoy that time in between when you go to try to accomplish one of those goals. Really enjoy the journey part of it and the progress, and being able to really take your horse from one step to the next is a good feeling. And it's hard sometimes for people to remember that, especially when they get babies and horses off the track is little.
But some of them aren't babies though, really. Like you said, your other horse was a 8-year-old, you said.
Yes.
So he must have had a good career.
Vaguely, I say babies as in green types, but anything that has had a second career, even if you're taking a Western horse and retraining him to be a little hunter jumper, it's the same thing. Just remember, take it easy. There's no rush. We're not trying to get the fastest one doesn't win the race here. It's just about what you can teach your horse, and keeping them happy and sane and healthy. I think is a huge part that people sometimes forget, that they just want that end goal and want to be able to accomplish and have their dream horse. And the fun part is building that and working towards that. So yeah.
What do you like about the thoroughbreds that makes you want to work with them? Like
they are my favorite. I mean, yeah, I love warm bloods. I love me some ponies, some quarter horses, but growing up with thoroughbreds, I must be a little bit biased, but I think they have a really, really great heart. I think if you find one that really, truly likes to work and whether they like their past job or they like their new job. Ones that like to work are really fun to work with. They give you their everything. They're very, very smart. And you get a lot of warm bloods that you're going, do you have a brain up there? Hello. And then they're big and beautiful and everything, but you don't see a whole lot of change in the way of their demeanor. I think thoroughbreds, you work with them, whether you work with them on the ground or riding, you see a whole change in their personality and their way of being, because they do understand that, you care about them and that they aren't just worthless after the track kind of thing. I know it sounds a little corny, but I think they're smart enough and have a big enough heart that if you show them that you're committed to them, they just give you their all. I think that sometimes can get people in trouble with thoroughbreds, is because they want so much that horse goes, okay, I want just as much. Let's get it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Patience is key. Gradual change kind of thing. But yeah.
Okay, well, unfortunately, we are out of time. I do think that we should have Katherine back again. What do you think, Patricia?
Sure. There's a lot more to talk about.
I think there's a lot more to talk about. We'll just I just would like to do a program on the Retired Racehorse Project and your program. Yeah, we could talk all day about it. And Patricia, I was watching you when we were looking at the videos, and I think like all of us, we could watch videos all day.
Oh, yeah. I love watching videos.
Oh yeah, I see that. Oh yeah. She doesn't have her inside leg on. Oh yeah. I see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always great having new people on, because everybody has different insights and different ways of seeing things. And I love it when I hear something and go, wow, I'm going to have to put that in.
Yes.
I'm going to try that exercise, the 4 poles and the long run to a little cross rail. See exactly how good these people are keeping that same rhythm. Yeah, it's really good. Well, thank you so much, Katherine. And if you would like to ask Katherine or Patricia or myself a question, please put it in the comments, and we will review the comments that are coming in Facebook and on YouTube, and we'll try to answer your question as best as that we can. But thank you so much. And next week we will be live again. I think we have a different guest next week, but we'll get Katherine back on for sure. Yeah. Cool. So thanks very much. Any final words, Katherine?
No, thank you guys so much for having me. This was so fun. And like you said, anybody that has any questions or anything, I'm happy to answer them. Please send them my way. And I look forward to being back. I think this was really great.
Great. Patricia, any final comments?
No, just put these things in practice at home. Practice makes perfect, right?
I like the way what Katherine says about the journey too. It's not just about winning that ribbon, although we all like to win ribbons.
It is fun. It is great, but
yeah. So go use this stuff. Go use this stuff and go hug your horse. Thanks now. Yes. Bye.
Bye, everyone.